What's going on, guys? Alpha here, and today I'm going to be taking a quiz to see how well I remember the 2020 F1 season. So in my opinion, the 2020 F1 season flew by. Obviously it was crammed into a short amount of time due to the COVID outbreak, which pushed back the season. So we had a lot of races to get through in a short amount of time. So we had a lot of cases where we had 3 races back to back, which is very rare for F1. Normally, like we're going to see this season, we normally have like a 2-3 week break between each race. So to have 3 back to back traveling across the country, it was quite hard. So that is why today I'm going to test myself and see how much I can remember about the 2020 F1 season. I don't think I'm going to remember much because, to be fair, I can hardly remember what happened in each race, but here goes nothing. Right, so starting off with the first question we've got, which driver suffered the most retirements in the season? So George Russell, he did retire quite a few times in the Williams. He had a few times where the memorable beyond the safety car spin out. Not the best way to go out. Kevin Magnussen, the Haas was very unpredictable, so I feel like it could be him. Lance Stroll again did have a few bad offings, especially I think it was Imola. Was it Imola or was it Mugello where he just went off straight into the barrier, which wasn't good. Max Verstappen also again got involved in a few tussles and sent him into the gravel. Charles Leclerc again, Ferrari unpredictable, but I'm pretty sure it was Kevin Magnussen. It was, yeah. Okay, the Haas wasn't the best. A quarter of voters chose the 2020 Italian Grand Prix as their favourite race. Which of these drivers did not lead the race? So I think Pierre Gasly, obviously his infamous win, so it was definitely not him because he was leading the race for the last section of the race. Carlos Sainz was quickly behind him. I'm pretty sure he was leading just before, and then Pierre Gasly overtook him, if I'm not wrong. Lewis Hamilton, I'm pretty sure, started on pole, so he was obviously leading from the start. So that leaves Lance Stroll, which I'm pretty sure it's Lance Stroll because all of them all make sense that they were leading at some point. Yeah, so Lance Stroll, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Which driver raced the most laps in 2020? Gotta be Lewis Hamilton. I don't think he DNF'd. Valtteri Bottas DNF'd a few times. Lando Norris definitely DNF'd once. Albon, again, definitely DNF. But then I feel like Kimi Raikkonen, it would just be a trick question. But I'm going to keep with my guts and say Lewis Hamilton. It was Lando Norris. Lando Norris completed a total of 1,000 laps in 2020. Raikkonen 1,000. Albon and Bottas 900 each. And Hamilton missed a race. Well, if that doesn't show how bad I am at retaining information, then I don't know what will. Sebastian Vettel was spotted going for a drive of Racing Point team principal Otmar Szafner. I can never say that. During the Silverstone doubleheader, according to Vettel, who later be signed by Szafner, again I can't say his name, to race for his team in 2021, he was simply keen to check out Szafner's new car. But what car was it? I simply do not have a clue, so this is going to be a complete guess. I'm going to, for some reason, my gut, just because it's Vettel and the BWT Racing Point team, I want to say one of the Aston Martins. So is it going to be the Aston Martin Valkyrie or the Aston Martin DB5 Goldfinger continuation? I'm going to say Goldfinger. I don't know why, but I'm going with my gut. Okay, it was a Ferrari. Of course it was. It's Sebastian Vettel. But then again, Sebastian Vettel didn't have the best relationship with Ferrari, so you can see where I'm coming from. Which of these drivers did not set a fastest lap in 2020? Max Verstappen definitely did. George Russell, Sakir, must have. Daniel Ricciardo, he's quite fast. Lando Norris. Esteban Ocon, it's got to be. It was, okay. I mean, Esteban Ocon is probably in the slowest car out of the lot. Then again, Daniel Ricciardo is there, but, out of the 2 drivers, Esteban Ocon is the slowest, so that made sense for him to be it. What unusual modification did Mercedes make to help George Russell fit better in Lewis Hamilton's W11 when the Briton replaced him for the Sakir Grand Prix? They removed the DAS system so that Russell could have his steering wheel set as far away as possible. They got Russell to wear size 10 racing boots rather than his usual size 11s. Russell raced without a seat with specifically sculpted cushions to stop him moving about. Mercedes moved all of the throttle and brake controls onto the steering wheel and got rid of the pedals to give Russell more leg room. Now, the last one already seems off the cards. That just seems ridiculous. Going off the other few, the DAS system, surely they'd want to keep that as the best thing they could probably have. No other cars have it, so I assume they want to keep that. Gonna be like his size boots. I swear I heard something about this. It was. Yeah, okay. They changed the size of his shoes from size 11 to size 10. Well, fair enough, Mercedes, because it was working until, you put him in for another pit stop, which was unneeded, and you screwed his race up, so there you go. In July, motorcycle racer Celestino Violetti That is not his name. Vietti injured himself trying out the podium celebration of which of these F1 drivers? Daniel Ricciardo, the infamous shoey. Don't know how you'd injure yourself through that, but, you know, fair enough. Lando Norris, I mean, he just sort of jumps about, so it could possibly be him. Sebastian Vettel, again, it changes week to week. Again, Lewis Hamilton, I don't really know what they do on the podium that's very special. Got to be Lando Norris. But then, surely it's got to be Daniel Ricciardo. Like, I mean, it's such a weird way, but I feel like that's something that would make the headlines, injuring yourself doing a shoey. So let's go with it. Okay, it was Lando Norris. It was Norris's battle bashing antics in Austria that inspired Vietti to try the same after clinching a Moto3 podium in July. However, Vietti smashed the bottle and injured his hand with 22 stitches needed. That reminds me, because Lando Norris like hits the bottle, doesn't he, off the floor to get it to like spray everywhere. Okay, that does make sense. Which bizarre issue contributed to Kevin Magnussen's retirement from the Emilia-Romagna, I cannot say that, Grand Prix? He ran over a loose drain cover and damaged the floor on his Haas. He spun off while trying to heat up his tyres behind the safety car. An issue with his gearbox meant that violent upshifts gave him a severe headache, and his fire extinguisher went off as he drove over a curb, filling his cockpit with foam. I have no clue about this. We're just gonna guess. A drain cover on a racetrack, that would seem... He must have went really wide to manage to drive over a drain cover. He spun off. I can't remember. He might have. But no, I remember what it was now. It was his headache, wasn't it? I think it was the upshifts. Yes, it was. I remember now. I remember him reporting on team radio of the headaches. I think he retired in the end because of it. Which of these races had the fewest classified finishes in 2020? I can't remember any of these, so I'm not even going to talk through them. Eiffel was the German one, wasn't it? And I don't think it was that one. I think the year before it would have been, but not this year. British Grand Prix. I think it's that. No, it's the Tuscan. Ah, okay. Then again, I hate it when they call it this. If they called it like the British, the place it was at, I'd probably remember, but they call it like the sponsors, and I just can never remember. But fair enough. How many different nationalities were represented on the 20-car grid for the season opening Austrian Grand Prix? Again, a complete guess. 10, 12, 14, 16. I'm going to go 12. You know, it's a nice number in the middle. Okay, well, it was the number up, but fair enough. Not one, but two Japanese drivers ran for AlphaTauri at the Abu Dhabi Young Driver Test at the end of the 2020 season. One of them was the team's 2021 driver, Yuki Tsunoda. Big up Yuki. Had a great first race. Who was the other one? Okay, again, I don't have a clue who any of these drivers are. So we're just going to go for, you know what, Marina Sato. Something clicks with that name. It was. See, go with your gut instinct. It works every time. Who received this helmet as a parting gift in 2020? Okay, the only two drivers I know here is Sebastian Vettel and Romain Grosjean. Know what, Sebastian... he's got a mustache on it, and Vettel doesn't have a mustache, so... I'm not sure about this one. I'm going to say Romain Grosjean. Okay, it was Chase Carey. I don't know who that is. He looks like he's like a CEO of someone, but I'm not sure. Daniel Ricciardo's paid tribute to which of these sports persons with a special helmet design in 2020? Again, I'm not sure. You know, I'm thinking Kobe Bryant for this one. You know, he's a big sports person. He's known all over the sports industry, and I'm pretty sure I can remember this. Okay, it was Kobe Bryant. Yeah, I do remember there being something about Kobe. Despite 2020 running to just 17 races, Lewis Hamilton still managed to win 11 of them. But in which season did Hamilton last fail to reach double digits for victories? 2019, 2017, 2013, or 2011? Now, this is a tough one because, as we know, Lewis Hamilton has dominated for a long time. I'm trying to think, like, the recent years, it's been a very harsh Mercedes dominance, so I'm going to say 2019 is already out of the running. And 2011 was obviously his McLaren days, and I think that fierce rivalry between him and Button may have stopped him from getting double digits with victories. I feel like also Sebastian Vettel was obviously winning his championships with Red Bull, which would be another reason why Hamilton wasn't winning as much. So I'm going to comfortably say 2011 is surely got to be the answer. It's not. It's 2017. In 2017, Hamilton only won 9 races. However, he's claimed 11 victories in each of the past 3 seasons. Which driver said this during a race in 2020? Did you hydrate during the race? You must have had some sweaty hands as well, so don't forget to sanitize. Valtteri Bottas, Lewis Hamilton, Pierre Gasly, Max Verstappen, or Lando Norris? Now, this is a tough one. Again, like most of these, I don't have a clue, so I'm purely going off just instinct. Again, it is just a random one, so I have no links to make. You know what? Who's a joker? I feel like Lando Norris. This is something he would say. It wasn't. Okay, it was Max Verstappen on a team radio, it looks like. Yeah, I don't think there was any hope of me getting that one. 2020 saw returns to Istanbul Park for the first time since 2011, and the Nürburgring for the first time since 2013. In the case of both venues, what was the last driver/team pairing to win there in F1? Fernando Alonso Ferrari, Jenson Button McLaren, Sebastian Vettel Red Bull, Mark Webber Red Bull. So the two dates are 2011 and 2013. So who was dominant? So Sebastian Vettel Red Bull was up there in 2011 and 2013, obviously winning his championships with Red Bull. Jenson Button again was dominating with McLaren alongside Lewis Hamilton. Fernando Alonso again was also dominating Ferrari, so it's quite a tight one. My instinct is either Sebastian Vettel or Fernando Alonso. Now, just because I know clearly that Sebastian Vettel did dominate a lot in the Red Bull, I'm going to go with that one. And I got it right. Sebastian Vettel bounced back from his infamous 2010 Turkish Grand Prix crash with Mark Webber to win at Istanbul in 2011. While his first ever F1 victory on home soil came at the 2013 German Grand Prix. Well, there's a little fact for the day for you. Racing Point caused controversy with their pink Mercedes RP20 this season, which even Sergio Perez conceded looks similar to the 2019 Mercedes. Racing Point were indeed fined and docked constructors' points for copying an element of the Mercedes design, but which part was it? Now, I know this one. I was watching Drive to Survive recently, and obviously it's a big talking point, so I should get this one right. And I'm pretty sure it's the front nose section. I'm pretty sure because the nose looked very similar, so I'm going to go straight up for it. The front nose section, and it wasn't. Now, I know this one. Now, that is embarrassing, because I'm pretty sure I was watching Drive to Survive, and it's like the nose point. It was the rear brake ducts of the Mercedes W10 that Racing Point were deemed to have copied, costing the team 15 points and 400 grand. Now, I was convinced it was the front nose section, but clearly not. Which of these records were genuinely broken in 2020? Highest number of maiden victories in a season, highest number of starts before taking victory, most different podium finishes in a season, most consecutive Grand Prix in which a constructor led at least one lap, shortest season in terms of days between the first and the last race. It's got to be shortest season in terms of days. It wasn't. It was highest number of... Okay, it was two of them. It was highest number of starts before taking victory and most consecutive Grand Prix in which a constructor led at least one lap. I'm not too good at this, am I? What was special about Lando Norris's helmet for the British Grand Prix? It was designed by Norris to raise money for the charity Mind. It featured Nigel Mansell's helmet colours as a tribute to the 1992 world champion and Silverstone legend. It was the first ever F1 helmet to feature integrated biometric technology to measure a driver's heart rate and blood oxygen levels, and it was designed by a 6-year-old. There's two clear standouts here for me. It was the charity Mind one, where the two McLaren drivers, Carlos Sainz and Lando, designed a helmet around the charity. And there was also a race where a 6-year-old designed the helmet. Now, I think out of those two, I'm pretty sure the charity Mind one was a different race, so I'm going to have to go with my gut and say it was designed by a 6-year-old. Indeed, it was correct. The helmet design was created by 6-year-old fan Eva Muttram, with Norris telling the media, "It leans a lot to me. It reminds me of myself when I was younger. Designing helmets, drawing away when I was 5 or 6 years old." Norris would later send a replica of the helmet to Eva. There's a nice little touch for you. And the last question, which of these was the first Grand Prix of 2020 to have fans in the stands? The British Grand Prix, the Eiffel Grand Prix, the Tuscan Grand Prix, or the Sakhir Grand Prix? Now, I'm pretty sure, I know there was definitely fans in the Sochi one, but that's not here, so I can't choose that one. I don't think it was the British Grand Prix because England has had a terrible, terrible battle with COVID, so I don't think there was any point of having fans in there. Again, Eiffel Grand Prix, the German Grand Prix, I'm not too sure about. I don't think they did. The Sakhir Grand Prix definitely didn't. That was like right at the end, so they either had fans but wasn't the first or didn't have fans whatsoever. So out of process of elimination, I'm going to say the Tuscan Grand Prix, which I believe... The Tuscan Grand Prix, is that Italy? I'm not quite sure which one that is, but we're going to go for it. And I'm correct. The Tuscan Grand Prix at Mugello was the first Grand Prix of 2020 to have fans in the stands. Let's hope for more of that in 2021. Yeah, definitely, because F1 without the fans doesn't hit like it would with the fans. Right, with the last question being answered correctly, I do not know how many I've got, but let's hope I've got a good amount. Let's see if I do remember a lot of the 2020 season. I scored 10 out of 20. I'm a solid midfield runner. I am a Renault of this quiz. 10 out of 20, it's a solid 50%, but then again, it's not as good as I would have hoped. But then again, a lot of the questions were very, very difficult, especially the ones like which part of the car did the Racing Point copy, which went very much into detail, and I was not prepared for that. But a solid 10 out of 20 at the end of the day, I will take that. Anyway, guys, if you have enjoyed watching this video, be sure to like and subscribe. I am pumping out content for you guys, so I hope you're enjoying it. Also, tell me down below any video ideas you guys have. I would love to hear them and put them down in my suggestions. I'm currently making a list with loads of video ideas so I can pump out more content for you guys, and I'd love to add to it. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. See ya.